In the final days of World War II, amidst the chaos and destruction, a young Canadian soldier displayed unparalleled bravery that would etch his name in history. Sergeant Aubrey Cosens, a member of the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, led a daring assault during which he would himself kill at least 20 of the enemy soldiers and capture an equal number of prisoners, resulting in capturing a position that would be vital to the success of the future operation of the brigade. This would posthumously earn him the Victoria Cross, the highest military honor. Aubrey Cosens was born on May 21, 1921 in Latchford, Ontario, Canada, as the only child of Charles Edward and Yvonne Jean Cosens. His father, a veteran of World War I, worked for the Timiskaming and Northern Ontario Railroad. Shortly after Aubrey's birth, the family moved to Porky Junction, a remote area accessible only by rail. The family lived in a converted train wagon, a common arrangement for railway personnel in the north. Tragically, Aubrey's mother died of cancer in 1925, leaving his father to raise him alone. Despite the challenges, he found solace in sports, playing hockey with the Police Amateur Athletic League in Timmins and spending his summers playing baseball. Like many during the Great Depression, Aubrey left school at 16 to work on the railway alongside his father. The work was grueling, often carried out in extreme weather conditions, but it instilled a strong work ethic and resilience that would later serve him well in the military. In 1939, at 18, Aubrey attempted to join the Royal Canadian Air Force, but was turned away for not having his school records. A year later, undeterred, he enlisted in the Canadian Army on November 12, 1940, and was assigned to the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. Over the next few years, he served in Canada and Jamaica, where he was promoted to corporal in January 1944. After further training in England, Aubrey was deployed to France in July 1944, joining the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada. He participated in key battles, including the Battle of the Falaise Pocket, Operation Tractable, and the Battle of the Scheldt, where his regiment fought to secure access to the port of Antwerp. Throughout these engagements, Aubrey proved himself a capable and determined soldier, earning a promotion to sergeant in February 1945. In a letter to his girlfriend, he wrote of the heavy responsibilities he now bore. The word responsibility is a big one in the army. I have learned that. As a seasoned soldier, he took his duties seriously, particularly in caring for the young men under his command. In Holland, on the night of 25th to 26th of February 1945, the 1st Battalion, the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada, launched an attack on the hamlet of Mooshoff to capture ground, which was considered essential for the development of future operations. Sergeant Cosens' platoon, with 2 tanks in support, attacked enemy strongpoints in 3 farm buildings, but were twice beaten back by fanatical enemy resistance and then fiercely counterattacked, during which time the platoon suffered heavy casualties and the platoon commander was killed. Sergeant Cosens at once assumed command of the only other 4 survivors of his platoon, whom he placed in a position to give him covering fire, while he ran across open ground under heavy mortar and shell fire to the 1 remaining tank, where, regardless of the danger, he took up an exposed place in front of the turret and directed his fire. After a further enemy counterattack had been repulsed, Sergeant Cosens ordered the tank to attack the farm buildings, while the 4 survivors of his platoon followed in close support. After the tank had rammed the first building, he entered it alone, killing several of the defenders and taking the rest prisoner. Single-handed, he then entered the 2nd and 3rd buildings and personally killed or captured all the occupants, although under intense machine gun and small arms fire. Just after the successful reduction of these important enemy strongpoints, Sergeant Cosens was shot through the head by an enemy sniper and died almost instantly. The outstanding gallantry, initiative, and determined leadership of this brave, non-commissioned officer, who himself killed at least 20 of the enemy and took an equal number of prisoners, resulted in the capture of a position which was vital to the success of the future operations of the brigade. Sergeant Aubrey Cosens was initially buried in Bedburg-Hau, Germany, before being reinterred at the Canadian War Cemetery in Groesbeek, Netherlands. His Victoria Cross, along with his other medals, is displayed at the Queen's Own Rifles of Canada Regimental Museum in Toronto. In recognition of his valour, a bridge in his hometown of Latchford, Ontario, was named the Sergeant Aubrey Cosens Victoria Cross Memorial Bridge. Despite initial resistance from the provincial government, the decision was overturned following a strong campaign by the Legion's Ontario Command, ensuring that Cosens' heroism would be remembered by future generations.
Thank you for subscribing and for your time spent watching Valour Stories. Until next time, remember their courage.